All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, SHIPIT Nation YouTube station? We're back Monday here, December 18th. It's almost Christmas time. Santa's almost coming to town. Hopefully, the DFS Santa's coming to town tonight in the streets. We got NFL, we got NHL, we got NBA on tap here. Obviously, a great night of sports here. We got you covered with everything you need over here at SHIPITNation.com. If you are not a member, head over to SHIPITNation.com. Click on Join Now. You can use promo code MAYO. Gets you 10% off whatever package you do choose. How much? I'll bring you in right away. Not the greatest NFL weekend for myself. Sounds like you had the same, but we're on an NBA show here. Hopefully get money back tonight in the streets. And got a decent little showdown game tonight as well in the NFL streets. How we doing, man? How was your weekend? Happy Monday.
Yeah, weekend was good. Was in Miami. That was about the extent of the goodness, though. Terrible DFS slate yesterday in that live final down there in FanDuel. But, hey, it's another day. We got NBA, we got NFL. Let's try to make a better day of it and win some money today.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. We got 11 games tonight in the NBA streets here. Again, if you guys are new, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Helps us out a ton. I believe we were 100 subscribers away this morning when Tambo and I were on reviewing Week 15 in terms of NFL slate. Once we do that, we're giving away an annual package to a lucky subscriber. So if you want to get in on the action there, definitely check that out and hit the subscribe button. Helps us out a ton. How much? We got a nice game here to kick us off. Clippers, Pacers, 246.5 is the total in this one. Pace up spot here for the Clips. Clips 3-point favorites on the road here. We got injury news. Halliburton, Miles Turner remain questionable right now. Obviously, if those guys miss, it's going to be Chalk City here with a lot of these Pacers, so kind of hard to break it down. I haven't seen any additional news on those guys yet. Halliburton questionable with the knee in that one. Touch on this game, 246.5 total, pretty close spread in this one, just a 3-point spread. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Halliburton, James Harden, Zubac. Where are you going?
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously we're waiting on some injury news for Halliburton and Turner. I hopefully they both play. This should be a pretty good game. But my favorite play in the game, regardless of who plays, is going to be Kawhi Leonard. I really like Kawhi Leonard. Power forward eligibility on both sides, I believe, and just so happens Pacers are the worst team in the league at defending the power forward. Kawhi's had some turn back the clock games here recently. He's going to be my favorite Clipper in this game. Favorite pacer for me would be Halliburton should he play. Don't mind Halliburton. Don't mind Miles Turner if he plays. And then I would sprinkle in some James Harden and Paul George. But I'm going to make Kawhi a priority of mine. And I really like Kawhi. I think he has a really good game in this game. Slated to score 126 points, which highest on the slate, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of total points. I think that Detroit Atlanta game's close, but give me Kawhi, give me the other two superstars, and then give me Tyrese and Miles Turner to kind of round it out. I'm not going to be playing any of the value guys tonight in this game, I don't believe.
Yeah, no, I do like that. I'm seeing decent ownership right now on Kawhi for good measure, right? 26%, probably between 25 and 30% ownership here. Great matchup, right? Indy struggles big time. James Harden coming off 71 fantasy point game 4 nights ago against Golden State, where he shot 5 of 6 from 3, 6 from 12 from the field, picked up 15 assists and 7 rebounds, right? Almost got his way to the triple-double, scored 28 real life. I don't hate him, but I do prefer Kawhi Leonard. I'm with you there. But there is a massive ownership discount there for James Harden. He is only point guard eligible. It's tough to play one of these big three, though. Overall, 11-game slate, I'm not super intrigued by it. Kawhi, definitely with you there, my favorite. Outside of that, really don't have a ton of interest in these guys, especially if Halliburton and Miles Turner play. Obviously, if they sit, you're going to look at guys like Isaiah Jackson, right? Buddy Hield, Bruce Brown. Everyone else gets a boost. TJ McConnell, Mathurin. Everyone else is going to get a boost. But right now, I'm playing like they do play. Haven't looked too much into it. Been a pretty busy day Monday going on here with everything else. Definitely monitor that news. We will get that news before lock. Obviously, this game tips off right away early in the slate. But for me, it's pretty much Kawhi Leonard or pass. If those two other Pacers do play, everyone else is pretty much priced up appropriately, right? Everyone's basically priced up. I mean, Bruce Brown's up over 6K. Buddy Hield's up over 6K. Even Isaiah Jackson, the backup center there behind Miles Turner, up at 5K. So Pacer side, pretty priced appropriately for me. Clippers side, it would just be one of one of James Harden or Kawhi Leonard. Really don't have a ton of interest in Paul George myself, even though he is the cheapest of the three. Let's jump into the next game here. We got Chicago. We got Philly. Obviously, anytime Joel Embiid's on the slate is a talking point here. Philly, 10.5-point favorites here. 226 is the total. Maybe a Joel Embiid. Outside of that, not really seeing a ton. Maybe a Vucevic against Embiid in a tough matchup, but Embiid is questionable as well. Caruso is questionable. And then Marcus Morris is also questionable on the Philly side. So some more news in this one. Not the greatest total, not the greatest game environment. Obviously, massive spread here. Philly at home should be able to handle this squad pretty easily. Where are you going in this one? Philly, Chicago.
Yeah, I like this game. I mean, obviously, Embiid is on another another planet. Really good play over on DraftKings at 11.5. He should. I mean, I think the Bulls have been playing better of late, so hopefully they keep it close. So I don't think he's going to sit out like he has over the last couple games. So give me some Joel. And then on the other side, I really like Vucevic. I like Vucevic going up against on the other side of that at the center position. So yeah, give me some Vucevic. Give me some Joel. Obviously, you can only play one on FanDuel. On two, you theoretically could play them both if you wanted to. Joel is popping over here in our models over here at SHIPIT Nation. So I would rank him obviously a little bit higher than Vucevic, but Vooch would be my favorite Bull to play. Embiid. And then, man, it's really tough, in my opinion, to play a lot of these 76ers unless, an Embiid or a Maxey are going to miss, just because those two dominate so much. And you have to have a lot go your way, in my opinion, if you're a 76er. So it would be Embiid or bust for me, and then Vooch on the other side. We like DeMar a little bit for just looking at some of our stuff over here. But for me, it's only going to be Embiid or Vooch tonight.
Yeah, I am seeing Embiid as he's still questionable. I see Matt talking about game time decision. I'm still seeing on Basketball Monster him is questionable. Craig doubtful, Caruso questionable, and Marcus Morris remain questionable. If Embiid does play here, I really love the spot for him. He's my favorite stud on the slate at 11.5. Just think he crushes this matchup here. It is a plus matchup as well for him against Vooch. And then Vooch, what he's been doing right at 8K, running it back. It is a tough matchup here against Embiid. I was just trying to look up his numbers against Embiid in the past versus, hold on. Let me just see how he's fared versus Embiid in the past. Just because, I mean, you could pair both centers in this game and just get contrarian that way, right? Play both centers from the same game. So not the greatest success overall versus Embiid, right? 18 in his last game, 48, 55, 38. So not a ton of interest overall. I think you could go there. It's just basically Embiid or pass for me in this game. Obviously monitor the news there. He is questionable. I'm seeing him still remain questionable. I don't see game time decision right now from what I'm seeing. But obviously do have to monitor that. Jump into the next game here. We have Houston. We have Cleveland in this game. Contrarian, Donovan Mitchell spend up maybe. But outside of that, looking at the total in this one, 214. I believe it's the lowest on the slate overall. Just a 4-point spread, though. For me, not a ton of interest in anyone in this game personally. But do you see something I'm missing here?
Yeah, I mean, it would be Mitchell for me. I mean, Houston has just gotten so much better defensively this year, slowing it down a whole lot. They're tough to score on, but I don't mind Donovan Mitchell, ever, especially if he's going to be lower owned. But that's still a big boy price tag you're paying. That would be it for me. And then it's just so hard to, in my opinion, to pinpoint these Rockets, which one's going to do good. It's a low total game. So yeah, I mean, it's Mitchell or bust for me, and it's probably going to be bust. Just looking at it, I can find better plays in my opinion. So we can skip this one.
Yeah, I don't think I can get to Mitchell at his price point. Really, think that game just plays better real life basketball game than DFS game, and that's all right. 11 games, you can't play everyone. That's a game that I'm crossing off personally. This next one here, Toronto at home versus Charlotte, 11-point favorites. 225 is the total in this one. Pace up spot here for Toronto. From an injury standpoint, Rozier's questionable, Miles Bridges is questionable, Hayward's questionable, PJ Washington's questionable. Basically, the whole four of the five starters, right, are all questionable on this on the Charlotte team. It's hard to break down right now. Obviously, if one or two, three, all of those guys sit, it's going to bring in guys, backups, right? McGowan's, Ish Smith, Brandon Miller. Nick Richards is the only guy that's not questionable right now in the starting lineup projected. So touch on this game, kind of if-then statement. If those guys miss, where are you going? It is still a pretty tough matchup overall against Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto at home, and my two favorite plays are going to be Dennis Schroeder, point guard position. Charlotte, not very good defensively, very bad guarding the point guard position as well. So give me some Schroeder. Also give me some Scotty Barnes would be my second favorite. Scotty would be my second favorite player in this game. The Charlotte has tons of trouble guarding, forwards and big men. So give me some Scotty Barnes. Give me some Dennis Schroeder would be my two favorite plays. And, we'll see if some value opens up on the Charlotte side. Maybe it seems like those guys have been value all season long and continuously let us down. So we'll see what pops, who sits, who's not. But give me some Schroeder. Give me some Scotty Barnes. Really like Scotty Barnes tonight. I believe 8,800 if I'm not mistaken. So give me him. I think I like him a little bit tonight over Siakam. I'm sorry, Scotty Barnes 9,200. Versus 8,300 on Siakam, so $400 off. Give me Scotty Barnes over Siakam tonight. Give me some Schroeder tonight as well at that point guard position.
Yeah, my two favorite plays are actually Podol and Schroeder here. Podol at 6-1 has a nice price point here. This is a plus matchup for him against Charlotte here. If he gets his minutes, I think he can crush this. That's just the concern. I mean, if he sees 32 minutes here, he should post a good game, obviously, like he did 2 games ago on the back on the 13th against Atlanta when he played 32. I mean, if he gets his 30 to 32 minutes, he can smash, I believe, here. So I do have some interest in Podol. I'm seeing very, very low ownership on him at that mid-tier 6-1. I mean, if he gets you 40, 45 DraftKings points, you're more than happy with that. So I do like Podol a little bit, and then Dennis Schroeder as well. I'm with you there. Don't mind a flop leg spot there after coming off that bust there when that total was massive there when they played the Hawks last game. But it does look like Rozier is going to play. He is probable. Pretty much the two guys that are questionable that might sit are Hayward and PJ Washington. So if one of those guys misses, obviously it gives a boost to Miles Bridges if he plays, Brandon Miller, and then maybe a backup right forward, maybe like a McGowan's or a JT Thor, something like that. But until we have that news, it's hard to go there. My two favorite plays, definitely Podol and Schroeder in this one.
Hey, Mark's asking about my guy, OG Anunoby. Any love for OG? No OG for me. I'm going to let him score another 50 on me tonight. I'm not going there, Mark. And then Barnes, I think we said was 9,200. Barnes is 9,400.
Barnes is 94, yeah.
Yeah, screwed it up again. But I don't mind Barnes. I don't. That price doesn't scare me tonight, Mark. Sorry, go ahead, Nades.
Yeah, no, great breakdown. Let's jump into the next game here. I believe this is the highest total on the slate. 246 is the total here. I believe this is second actually behind that Washington game later. But 246 total here. Trae Young at just 10K flat here at home against a team that can't guard the point guard. Trae Young absolutely nuking the slate, right? I mean, last 2 games he went absolutely absurd against Toronto. Now gets, arguably one of the best matchups in the league against Detroit here at 10K. Touch on Trae Young, touch on Jaden Ivey on the flip side at just 5'3". Seeing some ownership flock to his way, but definitely a pretty juicy game. It is a heavy spread here, right? 11-point spread for Atlanta at home in this one, but you gotta have some interest in this one. I think this is a great game environment here. Obviously, Detroit plays minimal defense here. All these Hawks are going to grade out pretty well for me overall. It's just a matter of what ones you click to play. In terms of the questionable, Capella, Bogdanovich, DeAndre Hunter, Killian Hayes have questionable tags right now. So touch on that. Where are you going in this one? Detroit, Atlanta.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a little bit of this or whatever my homeboy Trey does tonight. Trey's going to. I was doing this in case you weren't looking, or whatever that little move is he does. Yeah, Trae Young is about to blow up tonight, and he's a great play. He's going to be a great play on both sides. So, give me some Trae Young, and then the Pistons just can't guard the ball handler. So give me him. Clint Capella, I don't mind him. He is Q-tag. I think he missed the last game. If he were to miss, I think that, and this is gonna be really gross, but I think that opens it up a little bit for my guy Marvin Bagley, right? Starting at the center position tonight. Capella missed last game, and Jared Allen went for I think 25 and 15 or 24 and 15, something like that. So monitor Clint Capella. They don't have much rim protection as it is, and then if he sits, it just opens it up a little bit more. Marvin Bagley, the third, $4,900 at the center position. Should easily exceed 6x if Clint's out. But Trae Young would be number one. Yeah, I was looking. I saw a lot of people on Jaden Ivey earlier today, 5,300. Almost $3,000 under Cade Cunningham. Similar situation. Obviously, Cade plays a little bit more, but don't mind Jaden Ivey. But for me, it's Trae Young for sure. Bogdanovich. We should have two Bogdanoviches playing tonight. I like Bogdan from the Hawks better than Bojan for the Pistons. I know the one for the Hawks is questionable, but it's Trae. It's Bogdanovich for the Hawks. It's Marvin Bagley for me if Capella sits, and that's about it.
Yeah, no, great breakdown. I do think if DeAndre Hunter is in, he's going to guard Bogdanovich here. Bojan on Detroit side. So that's a pretty tough matchup. DeAndre Hunter, obviously a great wing defender there. So don't really love him a ton. Marvin Bagley and James Wiseman should split the 48 minutes at center. So I think you could play one of those guys, especially if Capella, who is not slated to be in the starting lineup. So people, at least what I'm looking at, are projecting Capella to sit again in this one. So obviously that would bring a guy like Onyeka Okongwu into play here at 6,300. He's a high fantasy point per minute producer, especially if he's in there without Capella. I believe him and Capella were both in the starting lineup together last game, if I'm not mistaken. If Capella sits, that definitely gives a big boost to Onyeka Okongwu here overall. But yeah, I really love Trae Young. I mean, this guy's cooking right now. He's 10K. He's got a nice price point. Kind of gives you a different roster construction than going all the way up. I haven't built too many teams yet to see if you could fit in a Trae Young and a guy like Joel Embiid, because those two guys could absolutely both nuke the slate, go for 70 plus, both of them. And Trae Young at 10K flat. I'm seeing sub 15% ownership on him, where it isn't too concerning overall. Jaden Ivey, 5'3", I think is fine. He's got a pretty decent projection overall. His ownership should stay in check. I mean, he's been pretty brutal. I get it, but it's still a matchup standpoint or a matchup play here overall. But yeah, it's kind of Trae Young basically is the number one piece for me. And then I think you could play one of Bagley and James Wiseman. I see some people talking about James Wiseman in the chat after he's coming off that 40-point game where he played 28 minutes against Philly. Right, went 9 from 12 from the field, 13 rebounds, picked up a double-double. I think I prefer Bagley at the cheaper price point, but it's pretty gross clicking on Bagley. What's your take on Bagley versus Wiseman there? Because I do think that's
yeah, it's gross for sure. I'm with you. I side Bagley a little bit over Wiseman, and just hope Bagley, can get 25 minutes, and they could basically split that, and for $1,000 less expensive. I'm with you. I'm going Bagley there, and then touch on this. What's your take on if Killian Hayes is out, Marcus Sasser worth a flyer? My take on that is, man, I'd play this Sasser kid. I like him. I liked him when he was at Houston. Playing college. I understand that college is a little different than the NBA, but I think he's got some juice to him. I really like Sasser. Not sure, he was playing a bunch there, back in early November. Something had to have happened, right? You don't go from playing 30 minutes to none. This is the worst team in the NBA. So, I don't hate that, Nico. But let's see what Hayes is. My problem though is, you still got Ivy, you still have Cunningham. There's one other guard I think I'm missing out, and so he's kind of that fourth guard, if you will. If Ivy sits, so I don't hate it. I like him, but I'm not coaching the Pistons this year, and so I don't see him playing many more than 20 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, anybody should be coach of the Pistons. I mean, this team is. I see a guy in the chat, PSA, right, talking about over under 10 games they win this season. I might take a slight lean on the over, just because, I mean, some of these teams just punt off games and they might sit everyone in Detroit. I mean, all these guys are going to go out there and might prove a point or something. But, it's not going to be much more than 10 games if they do win over 10 games there. But I do think this is an interesting game. There is blowout concern, obviously, in this spot, especially if Trae Young is going lights out like he has been the last two games. But again, if the game blows out, it's likely due to Trae Young smashing. So for me, Trae Young, ton of interest in him. If Capella plays, I do like Capella. If he sits, I really like Okongwu. And then on the Detroit side, I think I prefer Marvin Bagley to James Wiseman. Obviously, Marvin Bagley has a great matchup as well. Centers against Atlanta has been a thing all season long so far. So that's kind of where I'm at in this game. Let's jump into the next one here. Minnesota and Miami. Pretty gross game in this one. 217 total here. I mean, Ant Edwards questionable. Jaden McDaniels questionable. Outside of that, pretty much everyone's healthy in this one. Really not a ton of interest anywhere in this game for me. I know Jamal Cain was a thing last week, but not going to go back to the well there and deal with that. Another cross-off spot for me, obviously 11 games. There's much better game, much better total environments in this one. I think this is a better real-life basketball team. Obviously, two very good defensive basketball teams here overall. But do you see something I'm missing?
Yeah, the Ant Edwards was in the news over the last couple of days for some non-related basketball things. So hopefully he can get out of the gutter with that. Go Collect mentioned it in the chat. We get our guy Tyler Hero back. The native son for all those Wisconsinites, he's back tonight. It's going to muddy the waters even more, right? This is should be a real life game. Obviously, it's a 1 or 2 point spread, lowish total. I'm with you, Nades. I'm not going to be playing anybody tonight in DFS. Bam is back. Should be a a good real life game. Not for me tonight for fantasy purposes, however.
Yeah, Tyler Hero being back takes me off of anyone from Miami. These pieces are still priced up. Like Tyler's been out, right? Bam's 9,300, Butler's 8,700. Really don't like playing Butler until it comes close to playoff time. Tyler Hero at 8,300. You can't really play him. Even Josh Richardson, these secondary pieces. Caleb Martin's up to 6,700. Richardson's 4,700. So these price is adjusted correctly. Nobody really for me on the Minnesota side either. So another cross-off spot for me. Jump into the 7 p.m. window, standalone game, Memphis OKC here. Total in this one, 230. Another big spread, right? OKC 10-point favorites here at home. Touch on this one, man. OKC, Memphis. Not seeing a ton of injury news in this one. You got SGA, you got Chet, you got Desmond Bane, Jackson on the other side. You got a lot of ownership going to Vince Williams Jr. on the Memphis side at 4,600. And then Santi Aldama projected to get a decent amount of ownership. Quite a bit of ownership going to this game. Guys like Isaiah Joe, Gilliard, Xavier Tillman, Jaren Jackson, all these guys over 10%. Josh Giddey at 6K flat. I do think this is an interesting game to talk about from a DFS perspective because it's going to draw pretty heavy ownership in this one because Derrick Rose remains out, right? And Bismack remains doubtful in this one.
Yeah, this game should be up in pace game, right? And Memphis hasn't been very good all season long. Obviously decimated by injuries, decimated by their best player doing some extracurricular activities. So give me some SGA, man. This guy's really good. He's got a big boy price tag too. Obviously, you can't play all the big dogs, so it's going to be, do you want him? Do you want Trey? Do you want Embiid? Who do you want? I don't mind SGA tonight. He looks very good on everything that I'm looking at. He would be my favorite Thunder piece. He's obviously expensive. And you talked about Santi and Vince Williams Jr. They're both going to come with a lot of ownership. And, for Santi's case, he hasn't been playing a whole lot, in my opinion. Busy is questionable / doubtful, so that could give him some uptick. But if Busy sits, then he is the next big guy. They released Lofton Jr., who wasn't playing a whole lot to begin with either. But I'm going to wait and see what they do with their lineup. I mean, Vince Williams has been coming on, playing 28 to 30 minutes over the last couple games. So he'll get a ton of interest. And then D Bain and Jaren Jackson Jr. would be the other pieces. But at that price tag, I just don't see how you can afford to get up to Bain or Jackson. So if I were to play these Grizzlies, it would be Santi, it would be Vince, eat that chalk, and then pair him with maybe an SGA.
Yeah, Tillman remains in the doghouse, so that's kind of the love for Santi Aldama. He's picking up a lot of those Tillman minutes. I much prefer Vince Williams Jr. here, who should have to play over 30 minutes here to kind of put a hand in front of SGA and try and slow him down on this side. So I definitely have interest in Vince Williams at 4.6. If he gets his 28 to 32 minutes again here, that's a fairly nice value play. He's going to come with ownership, but again, a lot of times ownership in NBA DFS is different than other sports. A lot of times ownership is for a good reason, right? Minutes lead to production, and fantasy points per minute lead to that. He should be thrusted into more minutes here for his defense alone against SGA. So I do like that. And on the other side, I mean, you get SGA against a rookie, right? SGA kind of does his thing. He has a ton of upside. Like he's showing multiple times in his career, just went for 67 against the Kings a couple games ago. He's projected sub 5% ownership on this game. So have interest in him as a stud spend up. I think I prefer Trae Young at $500 cheaper just with the matchup. But again, both of Trae Young that game could easily blow out. And Trae Young still has guys like DeJounte Murray, right? Bogdanovich, other ball handlers to really steal from him. I mean, this is SGA's team, right? Outside of Jalen Williams, I mean, Josh Giddey's been absolutely atrocious last game. You could see a flop leg there. He put a couple good games together before that last game, which I saw our guy in the chat, Mark, talking about, right? 15 minutes, 4 points last game. I didn't look into it if he got injured or what, or if he just got awful and got benched. Personally, I didn't watch that game. But I do like SGA here. Vince Williams, I prefer Williams to Aldama. Don't really want to pair those two together, to be honest, especially at their ownership in this spot. So it's SGA for me. Vince Williams, Chet Holmgren, I think is an okay center play, but there's a lot of good centers on this on this slate. So basically those three for me, and kind of move on in this one.
Hey, real quick, Andrew, I don't know if we specifically mentioned that he's power forward eligible, but Nate did talk about a Kongwu, especially if Capella and or who was that other gentleman that you mentioned that's questionable, DeAndre Hunter. If either one of those miss, especially Capella, he should get some minutes. Yeah, he's power forward eligible as well. I don't think we specifically called that up, but we did talk about him.
That is big, right? Because center is obviously you can only play one center, and if you want to play two, you got to use up your utility. So getting a starting center, which Okongwu and Capella have been starting together. Finally, they put those two together. I know our guy Hebrew, who handles the bulk of the NBA over here for us at SHIPIT Nation, has been waiting for that to happen. They finally did that. But if Capella misses, I mean, Okongwu becomes one of the best plays in the slate, in my opinion, against Detroit with that matchup. Especially with no Capella in there to be fighting for minutes and usage. So really like that a lot. Jumping to the next one here, Brooklyn, Utah, 8 p.m. game. In this one, 232 is the total. Close spread in this one. Pace up spot. Pretty neutral pace overall. There's a 4-point spread here. Utah, 4-point dogs at home. John Collins remains questionable in this one. Ownership not really coming to this game too much. You got Mikal Bridges looking all right. Colin Sexton, Claxton. Where are you going in this one? Brooklyn, Utah.
Yeah, this Utah team, man, they're frustrating. They're pretty bad, but you get them at home. They are up in pace type of team. I like two guys tonight. Really like two guys tonight. For Brooklyn, my favorite Brooklyn players, Mikal Bridges, shooting forward, power forward, eligibility, small forward, whatever you want to call it. 7,700. Really like Mikal Bridges, and then power forward Cameron Johnson, $6,200. Man, this Jazz team does not defend the 3-point line very well. Keegan Murray, absolutely lit them up last time out. Obviously, Cam's probably not going to repeat that and get 70 points again, but they're very bad at guarding the 3-point line. It's now or never for Cam at 6,200. Those would be my favorite two. Nets, I think those are great plays. And then on the other side, Colin Sexton has really heated up. 7K, point guard, shooting guard eligibility. Don't mind him. And then I won't get to Nick Claxton or Walker Kessler, but both of them have upside. I think it was a couple games ago that might have even been last game, but Kessler had over 45 points. So give me some Mikal, give me some Cam Johnson for these Nets, and I may sprinkle in a Jazz piece to go along with that. But I really like those two tonight.
Yeah, for me in this game, it's Sexton and it's Cam Thomas. I like those two a lot. I see it in our chat, Eddie. Sexton been balling since he's been in that starting lineup there. Gets a decent matchup here against Brooklyn. I do like him. And then I like Cam Johnson compared to Bridges, just at the price discount, right? You get $1,500 savings. You could play him at the power forward position as well. He's been pretty brutal overall, but pretty fair matchup here against Utah. So I like those two pieces a lot. Outside of that, I don't have a ton of interest in this spot. I mean, you could play guys like Mikal Bridges, Chris Dunn, Claxton, all have decent matchups. But again, Claxton, another center, he's been underwhelming that price point as of late as well. So pretty much Sexton and Cam Thomas, my two, or Cam Johnson, excuse me, my two favorites in that one. Jumping into the next game here, we got Jokic on the slate at home, right, where we like to play Joke. Projecting to be pretty low owned, sub 5%. You got Luka on the other side, right? Don't think he can fit a Luka Jokic build here in this one, but 239 is the total. Denver's favored by 7 here. Pretty good game overall in this one. Obviously got the two studs there. Luka is questionable. Jamal Murray's questionable. Gordon's questionable. Rashawn Holmes is questionable. And then KCP is also questionable in this one. Won't have the news before a lot of these games lock, right? Because it starts 2 hours after the first game tips. But where are you going in this one? Denver and Dallas.
Yeah, I can't wait for this game. Should be a good one. Two of my favorite players to watch. And, you've said it all year long. I mean, and I don't have any data to back it up. But, yeah, Jokic just feels like he's so much better at home in that thin air. Don't mind Jokic, but I actually prefer Luka over Jokic tonight. I mean, obviously different positions or whatever the case may be. But with Kyrie out, I mean, Luka's usage goes up tremendously. Derek Lively scheduled to miss tonight. So I think, Luka's going to have to be on the boards a little bit more than he normally would be. So give me Luka over Jokic tonight. I mean, they're both walking triple doubles. I just like him just based on who's in, who's out. But you can't fault you for going either way. I'm seeing Rashawn Holmes is questionable, but likely to play. He's stone men. Going to start tonight. Going to split with Dwight Powell, I believe. But I'll side with Holmes, assuming he plays, obviously, at 3K over Dwight Powell, who's 4,200. Give me that savings on a 3K guy that's going to start, we think, in a game that should be good, should be competitive. I'm going to go with my guy. Rashawn Holmes, but just make sure he's in there. So for me, it's only going to be Luka or Rashawn Holmes tonight in this game. You said it. I don't think you could play Jokic and Doncic. It'd be cool if you could, but don't think you can. Both of them are totally fine plays. What about any other nuggets for you? I don't think I like any other nuggets. Just looking at them real quickly, it would be Jamal, but I don't think I'll get there. What about you?
Yeah, I would say Jamal, but man, he's still got a pretty minutes cap on him, right? Obviously coming off those ankles and that hamstring there. So with a minutes cap, right, it seems like he still has a minutes restriction on him. Played 22 minutes against Brooklyn, 29 minutes against Atlanta. I can't get there at 7,200. It's a tough click. It is an okay spot, I think. The Luka Jokic thing, I definitely prefer Jokic. It's a much better matchup here. Obviously, Luka can be matchup proof. I believe he went for 34, 10, and 8 last time he played Denver with Kyrie next to him. But Aaron Gordon, if he's in there, he should be able to at least try and slow him down a little bit. Guy like KCP should be able to help slow him down a little bit. You could look at a guy like Dante Exum, right? If Denver kind of focuses in on Luka, Dante Exum has been increased usage big time. He stepped up big since Kyrie's gone down. He is 6,600, which I don't love a ton. Tim Hardaway always is a pure shooter, can get hot. It's just really boom or bust for him, right? If he's not hitting his shots, you're kind of drawn stone dead with a guy like Tim Hardaway. But I do expect Aaron Gordon, KCP to kind of really close in on Luka here. Denver to win this game. I like Denver to win this game here at home, and it's going to be on the back of Jokic for me. So it's Jokic, it's Exum, kind of is the plays. I mean, Rashawn Holmes, if he starts at 3K, allows you to do a lot with your roster. It's still a very tough matchup. I mean, Jokic should be able to eat Rashawn Holmes up for lunch, right? Could run into foul trouble and things like that, but can never go wrong with a 3K starter in NBA getting minutes. It allows you to spend up at a lot of other positions. So those are my preferences in this game. 2 games left.
Hold on. You don't know anything about this. My boy Mark knows something about this. Maybe, I don't know. Got that new dad strength, Nades. Luka's been balling since he's been a dad. So maybe don't get thrown out, Luka. Stay in the game tonight.
Yeah. It's I mean, again, he's matchup proof. It's just I'm just banking on at the price point. I like Embiid way better. I like Jokic better. I like some of those. I like Trae Young a lot at 10K flat, right? I like SGA at 10.5. So for me, it's just I like the other guards as spend ups over Luka here tonight. But again, you can't go wrong with a guy that has 90-point upside anytime he steps foot on the court. And he did go for almost a triple double against the same Denver squad with Kyrie next to him last time they played. So good talking point there. 2 games left here. First game, Washington, Sacramento, 9 p.m. standalone game in this one. 248, massive total here. Sacramento 12-point favorites. Obviously, this is the largest total on the slate in this one. From an injury standpoint, did want to call out Wizards are on a back-to-back, so we could see potentially some people sit, but not really seeing many of those guys questionable. But again, it's the NBA. One of these guys could pop up. Gallinari remains out for Washington. On the Kings side, Fox is questionable with that shoulder injury. You got Sabonis, you got De'Aaron Fox if he plays, you got Kuzma, Malik Monk. Where are you going in this one? Obviously, biggest total on the slate. Again, another blowout concern with a massive spread, but big total, big spread, late night hammer. Where are you going? Kings, Wizards.
Yeah, I did see that De'Aaron was at morning shoot around, and it looks like he's on schedule to play. Actually, I hope he does play because my favorite play, maybe on the slate, is going to be Sabonis. Really like Sabonis tonight, 9,800 at this loaded center position. He should go overlooked with all the action that we have. He's in a great spot tonight. The Washington cannot defend the rim, no rim protection. He should clean up the glass. He should get 20-plus points. Really like Sabonis tonight. So I'm hoping Fox plays, obviously, Fox sits. Obviously, you got to go somewhere, but Malik Monk, he gets an uptick when Fox sits, just from a shot perspective. So give me Sabonis, give me Monk if Fox sits. I don't think Fox. I'm not going to play Fox, but I don't think he's the craziest play. I mean, he's got a great matchup too, going against this Washington team that doesn't guard anybody. But Sabonis is far and away my favorite player in this game. And then on the flip side, I mean, I think you can play Kuzma. 8,600 is too much for me. I saw the chat mention Dan Gafford at 6K. I don't think Gafford's the worst play. I'm going elsewhere tonight at the center position. But I do think Gafford does come in really nice at 6K if that's where you wanted to go. Certainly don't mind some Gafford, who's had a pretty good season in my opinion. So don't mind Gafford at all.
Yeah, no. A little bit different than you. We got to talk about Tyus Jones, right? Coming off absolutely back-to-back nukes, right? 54 and 61. His last 2 games went for 61 against Phoenix last night. I mean, he played 39 minutes. I don't know. Did that game go into overtime last night? I didn't watch NBA on a Sunday with football on the TV, but he played 39 minutes.
I don't believe it did.
Okay. Yeah. So he got 39 minutes. I mean, Tyus Jones, I don't know if you want to chase that, but I mean, he's back to back. He's just been very efficient from the field. I mean, game against Indy, when he went for 54, he shot 6 for 7 from the field, 1 for 2 from 3, picked up the triple double, right? 10 rebounds, 11 assists, had 11 assists in both the last 2 games. I mean, you have to think those assist numbers are going to come back and check, because before that, I mean, he was getting 3, 4, 5 assists before that. I don't know if I would chase that. My favorite Washington piece is definitely Dan Gafford. I really like Gafford here a lot at 6K flat, especially since you can play Okongwu. If we get that news at the power forward position, you can still play a guy like Embiid and Gafford. Okongwu at his price point, Gafford and Embiid. I really like those 3. You could play those. Gafford checks out well for me. He's looking pretty good for me. And then I'm team De'Aaron Fox here over Sabonis. Obviously, Fox is questionable. If he plays, I think he absolutely nukes this Washington squad here. It's the best matchup for point guards on the slate. Fox, $200 cheaper than Sabonis. I'm team Fox over Sabonis for me. So Fox, Gafford, my 2 favorites in this one.
Well, you know, the reason why Tyus Jones got that triple-double, you know what it is, right, Nates? Your boy Jordan Poole finally decided to hit some shots, made 12 shots that game. That's why he got a triple-double. Any love for your boy Poole tonight, going back home to the West Coast? I know not Golden State, but he's going back home up to North California. Any love for Poole tonight in Sacramento, a place he's played numerous times?
I can't click $7,000 Jordan
No pool
Poole.
party?
No pool party for me, man. It's 34 degrees, 25, degrees here in Wisconsin. I'm not going to the pool anytime soon. Sure, it's much warmer out in Sacramento, but still, Jordan Poole, not for me, man. I can't do that at 7K. I'd much rather just play Tyus Jones for $400 cheaper, or go up $1,600 to a guy like Kuzma. But again, favorite Washington piece, Gafford. Favorite Kings piece, De'Aaron Fox. Both of them should be pretty low owned on the slate, and should be 2 decent late night hammers overall. Last game on the slate, Knicks and the Lakers, late night hammer here in this one. From a total standpoint, 235 is the total, just a 4-point spread for LA. Obviously, as always, Davis and LeBron come in with a questionable tag, but so does D'Angelo Russell. Jared Vanderbilt's also questionable, so a lot of questionable tags. We will not have that news. It is the standalone last game of the slate. Might get that news before that Washington game, but man, it's kind of tough because there's only 1 game, or there's only 2 games at 8 p.m. and then there's an hour break before the next game. So you're looking at needing an hour and a half to before this game tips off to get that news before those 8 p.m. games tip off. So kind of hard. Break this one down. Lakers, Knicks.
Yeah, this hopefully, Jalen doesn't go for another 85 piece like he did the other night. I think on Friday night that was when he dropped 50 real life points. That was an epic late third and fourth quarter performance out of my man Jalen. But I actually think the Lakers win this game going away tonight, and I think it all starts with Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis, obviously, it feels like every game he and LeBron are questionable, and then they always play. But I don't know why they do that. But in any event, I really like Anthony Davis tonight. I really think the Lakers run this Knicks team out of the gym. Don't think it's close, so I'm not going to have any Knicks. Very interested in my guy Anthony Davis, who's just been on an absolute heater over the last 2+ weeks. As far as value goes in this game, I don't really see any. If D'Lo sits, backup point guard. I don't know who would be. I guess Austin Reeves, gets a bump, but at 7.3, that's a tough price to pay. It's AD. It's AD. No LeBron for me. Julius Randle would be my favorite on the flip side. Former Laker great himself, Julius Randle. But give me AD, and that's about it. I don't think I can get to Julius Randle.
Yeah, I really actually don't like this game too much. Obviously, if the news hits, right, if D'Lo misses, it gives a big boost to a guy like Austin Reeves, who I played last time when D'Lo was out. But Cam Reddish was also out. So Cam Reddish, 5-1. I think would become a okay play if D'Lo misses. But as it stands right now, again, standalone game, I'm going to just kind of approach this slate like this game doesn't exist, and just hope these guys play. For me, not really a ton of interest. And I see our guy Go Collect in the chat. Yeah, I really don't know who's going to guard Jokic on this slate, and I'm seeing sub 5% ownership. Yeah, Rashawn Holmes is not getting in the way of Jokic at home. I'll tell you that right now. I definitely think a triple-double is coming from him. But let's give our plays of the day. A little thing that we're adding here, just give the people something. Hamwich, I'll kick it over to you if you got a play of the day ready. Who's your go-to tonight on this 11-game NBA slate?
Oh yeah, for me it's rather easy. He'll be in my core over at SHIPIT Nation. They're slated to score 130 points. He'll have 35 of those and 20 rebounds. Domantas Sabonis at the center position, 9,800. You can lock him in for 65 plus tonight.
Tough. That's a tough way to start the plays of the day on this Monday. I'll tell you that right now. De'Aaron Fox, $200 cheaper, outscores Sabonis easily in this game. But, hey, that's why we come on these shows. Don't have to agree on everything. I'm going to my guy, Jokic. I mean, sub 5%. I think Embiid is also a great play, but Embiid's going to come with a little bit higher ownership, I think. He is questionable, a game-time decision as well. I'm going Nikola Jokic here at home against Dallas. He's going to show out against Luka here at home. Triple-double on the way. I'm calling a 70-plus spot here for Jokic at home against these Dallas Mavericks. That's going to do it for this edition of the Monday, December 18th NBA show, brought to you by ShipItNation.com. Again, if you guys are not a member, head over to ShipItNation.com. Click on Join Now. Use promo code MAYO. Gets you 10% off any package that you do choose. We got you covered. All the content's up already or going up for the NFL single game showdown where Tambo, Hoop, and Title broke that game down tonight over on the Mayo Media Network. I got all my NHL stuff up. Our core plays for NBA are going to go up. We got our correlation sheets, all the projections, everything being updated right now. So head over there, check us out. If not, just hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Helps us out a ton. But for Hamwich, I'm Nadesify. Good luck tonight in your guys' contest. Hope to see those ShipIt Nation logos at the top. Let's ship it.